Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Teresa Harper and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Sheridan, Oregon, and I'm here today to make a little treat box using the Playful Ghosts, and we are also going to be using the Greetings of the Season online exclusive tag dies, and specifically we're going to be using this large tag die right here. Okay, so we'll need to cut one of these in Gorgeous Grape and one in Basic White, and you can use the regular, but I have cut mine with the thick just to give my box a little more stability. So we've got those two. The Playful Ghost is a 9-piece cling mount red rubber stamp set. This was an online exclusive that was released in July, and it is while supplies last. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with some ink blending. Okay. And for our ink blending, we're going to be using some Gorgeous Grape, Pumpkin Pie, Flirty Flamingo, and Crushed Curry. Okay, so I'm going to use my glass mat to my full advantage, and I'm going to start with the Crushed Curry, and I'm just going to take and dab a little bit of ink right there on my glass mat, and then I'm going to go to my Pumpkin Pie, and my Flirty Flamingo. You can get this Glass Mat Studio in the online exclusive section of the store, and then we'll put some Gorgeous Grape down there. Okay, and then we also need a little bit of Night of Navy. And let's see, where did that ink pad disappear to? That is not good. Well, we will figure it out. It should be right there with the rest of them, but it doesn't appear to be in its slot or with the rest of them. Now, where would I have put that? Okay, well, let's just move on. We can change that up. But let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to grab the Crushed Curry, and I'm just going to start at the bottom of my Basic White tag here. Put a little bit of the Crushed Curry on. Okay, and then I'm going to move to the Pumpkin Pie, and I'm going to go up from the Crushed Curry, and then I'm going to turn this and go the other direction just to make sure that I don't end up with a heavy saturation on one side and no saturation on the other. So we've got the Pumpkin Pie. Now let's move on to Flirty Flamingo. We're going to do that same thing, making sure that we blend the pink and the orange together. Okay. We've got that, and then we'll go with the Gorgeous Grape and blend that across. And then we'll finish up with, since I must have misplaced the Night of Navy in a section it doesn't belong in. Although my stamp room is pretty darn clean. So I'm going to go ahead and use Misty Moonlight. It's pretty close. not quite as dark, but it will work. Just have to saturate the color a little bit more. And then we're going to go at the top of this just to make it look like it's a little bit nighttime at the top. A little bit darker. Let's go ahead and grab some more of that misty moonlight. Okay. And at this point, I've covered most of my purple, so we're going to go back and add some more of that purple back in. Okay. There we are. So there's what we have. And let's go ahead and give this a good wipe. I'm going to pull out a baby wipe because before I turned the camera on, I forgot to wet down my chamois. No worries, I've got a baby wipe candy, so we'll just take that and dry that off real fast. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp our images. We'll take a piece of regular basic white, and I want some Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I'm going to stamp the ghost pumpkin and the little Dracula. Okay, and that's what we need to stamp, and then we'll color. I'm going to heat set those real quick just so that that black doesn't, because I should have done that before I did my ink blending, and then I would have known that my ink was completely set, but no worries. This way I won't have to worry about that being still wet when I start with my Stampin' blends. So I'm not going to color this completely. I'm just going to show you how I did it. So I did do a video on a live on Tuesday night on my Facebook page, and I did kind of show how to do this. So you could go back and watch that replay. I posted it here on YouTube. And if you like my video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and be sure to click that notify button so you'll know each time I go live and or upload a video. I would appreciate that. And thank you so much. Okay, so I'm using dark pumpkin pie. Then I'm going to go in with the dark peach pie, and I'm just going to blend in right where I went with that dark pumpkin pie, just to blend those colors together. And then I'm going to go back here and run my dark peach pie along these lines, trying to make this look so like it's not such a flat image. So we'll blend those in. Okay. And then we'll finish up with the light peach pie. And again, I'm going to blend those colors together. And we'll do that while the ink is still wet so it will blend well. So we're almost done with this right here. Okay. All right. And if you go out of the lines a little like I did, just go ahead and take your color lifter and give that a little blending. And then to finish this off, we're going to use a little bit of lemon lolly, and I'm going to put some wild wheat on the stem here. Now the top of this pumpkin I would do the same as the bottom. So I'm going to take the light lemon lolly here, and I'm going to color in those eyes. And I'm going to color in the whole mouth. And then I'm going to go back with the dark lemon lolly and run some just in a little triangle or little L shape on the eyes. And then I'm going to go back on the mouth just to give that a little blending. And I'll finish up with the dark peach pie in the pumpkin meat there where you colored it. Okay, and then to give our ghost a little bit of character, I'm going to take some light petal pink, give him some cheeks, and fill in that tongue. Okay, and then of course I would finish off the top of that pumpkin using the dark pumpkin pie, light peach pie, or dark peach pie, and then the light peach pie. Let's go ahead and give our little ghost a little bit of character here. So again, before I forget, I'm going to do some light and dark peach pie on the inside of the cloak here. We'll start with the dark and just put in a little bit of the dark. And then I'll finish that with the light. Okay. And if I don't do that first, then I forget. So I've got that done. Let's go and grab our dark Highland Heather. And I'm going to put a little bit of dark in the ear of the Dracula here. And then a little bit along the ears there where there would be a shadow. I'm going to bring that down and then kind of just outline this with that. Put a little bit of dark there, and then I'll fill that in and blend it all with the light Highland Heather. Okay. And I'm going to go over some of that dark Highland Heather just to bring those two colors together and blend them well. Okay. Then we'll take the light basic black and the dark smoky slate. Now, if you don't have both, you could use just the smoky slate. The dark basic black is way too dark in my opinion. You lose too much definition in your stamping. So again, I'm just going to give this where I think there would be a shadow and outline this a little bit, and then go along here and along the edge here and down the little cloak. And then I'm going to go back here at the corner and I'm going to fill that in a little bit just so it looks like I've got a shadow. And then I'll finish that off with the dark smoky slate and blend those two together and work those lines so that I don't have any harsh edges. Okay, and as long as I work while this is wet, I won't have any trouble with that blending. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to start with the light this time. It really doesn't matter whether you go light or dark first. This is such a smaller little area that I'm going to kind of do it backwards. I don't need a lot of the basic black on here. Okay, there we go. Now the last part is to put some cute little cheeks on here with the petal pink. And there are our images. And now we can cut those out. You have to fussy cut. It doesn't take very long. So I'll just show you on one of them. Give you a few fussy cutting tricks. You're going to hold the scissors and support it with a finger up here and then one in your snips. Paper snips really do make a difference. You're going to turn with your left hand and keep the scissors just opening and closing with your dominant hand. Rotate the cardstock. Try to stay in the center of your scissor here. I'm not working way down in the fulcrum here, and I'm not working at the top. I'm working about in the middle. Rotating and cutting. And these images really aren't that difficult. And so we just, as long as we keep moving the paper with our left hand or our non-dominant hand, and you can cut off the excess if it gets in your way. Okay, so there's a quick cut on that. All right. You know, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and cut this one out. So it really only takes a couple of minutes. It's fairly quick, because you're just turning the paper with your left hand, opening and closing the scissors with your right or your dominant. And this fussy cutting really, if you just make yourself do it and practice, you'll get better and better. I leave a line because the eye will be drawn to the black of the image, the outline, and you won't notice whether I cut perfectly or not. Okay, so we've got that, and let's go out ahead and pull out my finished one that I had from before, and let's make our box. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. Let's pull out our Simply Scored tool. Now you could do this on a trimmer that has a scoring tool. Okay, so we're going to put this in. This is 7 3/4. Well, it shouldn't be 7 3/4. Hang on, let me cut this. It should be 7 by 3 3/4. So I totally cut this wrong. So let me grab a piece of paper. I got my measurements backwards. Okay, so I need this to be 3 3/4. By 7. Okay, now you could score on this on the trimmer if you wanted. I find I get the best scores, and it's easier for me if I use the Simply Scored tool. So I'm going to take this, and on the 7-inch side, I'm going to score this at 1 and 3 1/4. 4 1/4 and 6 1/2, and then I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. And let's revisit that. This is how you do this if you want a taller box. Now, I don't want the taller box, and let me show you what the taller box looks like. This is the taller box. It goes clear up to the top. I actually want this to be 3 1/4 inches, not 3 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's not a big deal. We're just going to put this back in with the score line at the 1-inch score line to the left, and we're going to take that to 3 1/4, and I'm just going to cut that off at the top. Okay, so this piece still works. It's all ready to go now. I looked at the wrong number on my template because I left both numbers there so that I would know how to make it in either size. So you could make yours taller or shorter, depending on what you want. I wanted mine shorter, so I'm using the 3/4 by 7-inch measurement. Scoring lines are all the same, but you could use the 3 3/4. So let's grab our paper snips, which are right here. And I'm gonna, on this little 1/2-inch section here, I'm gonna turn this, and I'm going to go on the long rectangle, and I'm going to angle cut that to the score line, and then I'm going to cut off this rectangle on the side of the score line where the large rectangle is. So I'm going to remove that piece, and then I'm going to cut up straight on the large rectangle, angle cut to the score line, cut up on the edge of the large rectangle again, and angle cut to the score line, which removes that score. And I'm going to repeat that again on this large rectangle and this small square. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to angle cut this to the outside. And that just makes my box go together nicely. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of tear and tape here. And I'm just going to place this next to the score line on the small rectangle. And tear that off. And then when I put this together, this is going to be the front of my box. Sorry about that. And so I'm going to put a little bit of tear and tape right here on the inside of this section. Okay? So when you finish it up, it's going to look like this. This is the inside of the box. This is the outside. So you've got tear tape on this little rectangle here. And then you've got tear tape on this rectangle, the large rectangle to the left. Okay? So let's go ahead and burnish those down. That is the secret to getting to tear tape to work really well for you. Make sure you burnish that to your paper so that it doesn't come apart. And then I like to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to fold in on the second score line from the left and the first score line from the right. Again, second and first. That way it'll lay flat. Line up those edges, and then give that a really good press along that tape. Okay. Then I'm going to take my large bottom rectangle. This is the back of the box, remember, because this is where we have our seam here. So I'm going to push that in. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a liquid glue here and put on these little tabs. Okay. And I'm going to remove this tear and tape. Now you could use tear and tape on those tabs if you want to. I'm going to push those 2 tabs over the bottom of that box and then seal that front down here. I like to do my boxes this way. I have a clean inside when I do that, which won't catch whatever treats I put in there, and it looks nicer. Okay, and my bottom box is there. You don't even know those tabs are there. Just makes a nice, clean, and tight finish. Okay, so this box is done. Let's go ahead and finish decorating the front of our box. So we are going to take some smoky slate ink. Yes, I'm going to use smoky slate. And I'm going to take the cloud from the Playful Ghost set, which I forgot to pull out. And we'll put that on a block. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper and I'm going to ink that up in Smoky Slate. I'm going to stamp it off quickly, and then I'm going to stamp it down there. It's going to be real light. Let's go here and then here. Okay, just to put some little clouds in there. I don't want those to be obvious, really loud. Okay, so we've got that, and now we're ready to add this piece to the front of our box. Okay, so I want to show you a trick with the Tombow liquid glue. There is two sides to the liquid glue. You've got the fine tip side, and then most people don't realize that there's another side right here. I'm going to take and use this side, and I'm going to start with the front of my box. Not that it really matters on this particular box because of the way we're doing it. And I'm just going to put some glue down, and then I'm going to rub that down so I got a little thick to start with, but it's no biggie because I have this. So I'm just going to work that all over my box, and then I won't have any glue spurting out. If I hadn't squished it so hard to begin with, it would all be good. That keeps you from having a big mess on your box. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off because I got a little carried away when I squirted it out. Okay, and then I'm going to take and flip my front of my box over, and I've designed this to fit right inside the corners here. So I'm going to place this down right at this little stitching and center that up side to side. Okay, so I'm trying to get that right along that stitching, making sure that I've got that box on straight. Okay, and then I'm going to give that a good press, and again I'm going to take my bone folder, smooth that all out, and then I'm going to repeat that with the back, hopefully not squirting so much glue. And let's start in the center this time so that if it does squirt, I don't end up with a big glob at the edge. And then I'm just going to work that around with the tip of the glue and spread that out. Get a nice coat on there. And then I won't have sticky fingers. Okay, and then I'm going to take the purple, the Gorgeous Grape one. I'm running my fingers down here to get any excess of those little hanging chads back out. And I want to make sure that I lay, this definitely has a front and a back, and I want to make sure that I'm adding it to the back. So I'm going to lay that with the front facing my glass mat and the back facing up. And then I'm going to add this the same way I did before, right along that stitching line. And before that settles in, I'm going to set that down to make sure that my bottom is even. Okay, and I'm good. And then I'm going to give that a good press. Okay, so here we are. Now let's go ahead and add our little characters to our box. And I'm going to do that with some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I've got just the dregs left. And I'm going to use every drop I can. So I'm going to put this down. I'll put my pumpkin one on first. Okay. And I'm going to take off my backings, and we're going to add this to the right hand side of the box, and I'm going to go up just a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Set that down as straight as I can get him. And then I'm going to take my little Dracula guy here, and this bleeding that you see with the markers is completely normal. And so with my Dracula guy, I want him to stand out even more. So I'm going to take and put some double dimensionals here. I'm going to double stack them. Okay. And remove that. And then I'm going to put another double stack right there on his head. But again, more to the left than the right. And we'll double stack that. And that way it looks like our little Dracula buddy is in front of our pumpkin. Okay. Now I'm going to take, before I forget, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to pop that in the center of his eyes and in his mouth, just to give that a little sparkle with the light glow. Oh, I forgot to stamp the Trick or Treat up here before I put this together. So let's see if we can make this work. Let's see. Yep, I think I can make it happen. Let's do this. I'm trying to get this as solid as I can. Okay, I think I can make that work. We're going to find out here in a minute. This is problem solving. And if not, we'll stamp it and cut it out. But I'm going to take some Memento Black. And all I've taken is a ruler and a stamping block to try and get that solid area behind it. And then we're going to take this Trick or Treat, stamp it right there, and there we go. Problem solving at its finest. There we go. Got it. So now we've got all of that. Now let's go ahead and put our treat in. So I'm using these Baduco Choco biscuits to go. I get them at my local grocery store. This box is also will fit 2 fun-size candy bars. This is what I wanted to put in this one. So we've got that. And then we're going to take and close this up with some iridescent trimmed ribbon. And we just need a small piece. And then we need a little bit of linen thread. Okay, so we're going to grab this. And we're just going to feed it through. Okay. And I like to do mine off the bowl. Now you could just tie a bow and be done. I'm going to take and trim this up. And I want to go this way and this way. Okay, and then we're going to grab some linen thread, and we've got some a 3-pack of linen thread. Let's see if I can find mine real fast here. I don't know what I did with it either. All that stuff's, I started to pack up for a crop and before I started this video. Okay, well, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna grab some, let's see, do we have some? Yeah, we have some white linen thread here. We'll just grab it. Because I don't know what I did with that pack. That should be right here. All right. White linen thread. Here we go. This is the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. And it's got a roll of white in it. Let's just grab that out. We'll find the end of this if we can. Of course, this will be the time when I can't find it quick. There it is, right there. There's the end. And then I'm going to take my reverse tweezers, which come in the Embossing Editions kit. And I'm going to take my reverse tweezers and I'm going to hold on to that. And thread this around here. And tie that up in a nice bow. Like so. Then I can let go of my reverse tweezers. Find the ends of my, oh, well that didn't work out very well. I pulled it through all the way. Come on. Let go. All right. I pulled too far and pulled it clear out. There we go. All right. Then we can pull our reverse tweezers off and trim off our end. And there is our little treat box. Okay. So now here's the difference. This is using the linen thread trio pack that's in the new annual or the new mini catalog that released on Wednesday. And this is in Night of Navy. And then I've used the white here. So you decide whether you like the white or the Night of Navy. This is the, oh no, this is the shorter box. Sorry. This is the difference between the two boxes. So this one is the 3/4 by 7-inch piece, and this is the 3 3/4 by 7-inch piece. And in this box, this is the one where I have put the fun size candy bars. So you can get 2 of those in there. And then just stuff that back in. And I can retie that with no issues. But the candy won't just fall out, so you don't have to worry about that. So there we have you. And this one I used the third little ghost to do this one up. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with all your friends, and I will see you again soon. Good night.